Welcome, players and collectors, to the brand new Nostalgix TCG podcast, The Void. I'm your host on this podcast, Ren. A lot of you guys know me as Collector Ren as well. But we are starting a brand new adventure here. And for the first time, we are bringing Nostalgix to podcast form, the audio side, everything. So you guys are hearing this on audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, things like that. And it's also going to be airing as a video on my own channel, Ren's Collectibles. We'll be doing this as a weekly adventure to bring you guys all the latest and greatest news, updates, everything about Nostalgix TCG. I'm very passionate about Nostalgix TCG. I know a lot of you guys already know that, but I wanted to bring something to give you guys on the go a chance to listen and not only just watch some of my news breakdowns and things like that. And I think it's important to have something for audio-based listeners, because even like me, when I'm at work, I like to put podcasts on and just listen to them while I work. Can't always watch, but for the most part, I can listen. So we are bringing something new to the realm here. A lot of Pokemon, TCG, and Digimon, Flesh and Blood, Magic podcasts, things of that nature already exist, and a lot of people like tuning into and listening to that. So I thought, you know what? Let's just bring something to the nostalgic side of that. So we're here. We're bringing you the first ever episode of The Void. The name is subject to change. It's something that I came up with and it just kind of stuck with me. So for now, that's what we're moving forward with. But I am looking forward to sharing some of these news updates and breakdowns and everything with you guys, and spread the Nostalgix joy through an audio platform. So thank you all for tuning in, listening. We're going to get started. I'm going to give you guys a little breakdown, a little rundown of what to expect on the very first episode of The Void. And that is, we got some major news today, the day of recording. And that's the Harmonic Surge, which is the second set of Nostalgix TCG, has officially launched their card list. So we're less than a month away from the actual set being released, but we just got the card list today. We're going to run through it. We're going to take a look at it. I don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully I can, keep a pace going here, but you guys know how excited I get about cards and gameplay mechanics and all that nonsense that a lot of people don't really get into too much unless they're into the game as well. So we're going to be breaking that down and kind of looking at Harmonic Surge as a whole after that, kind of discussing some things, and then we're going to do a card pick of the week. That's something I want to do every week, is kind of showcase a brand new card, or existing card, but we want to give a look at all these different cards, because there's a lot of cool and great cards out there that not everybody knows about and realizes. So we're gonna kind of do that, and I'm also going to tease a little bit about the next week's card pick of the week. I'm gonna give you guys like one or two hints and see if you guys can guess it or not. But we're going to kind of do that. And then I think the ending should be something really fun, really awesome. So we're going to do a pack opening, a one pack, and see if we can hit some magic during the podcast. I'm hoping that this is the day we pull a signature card. So bear with me, buckle up. We're going to dive on into Harmonic Surge, the card list. So for my visual side, I've got the Nostalgix TCG website up, and if you go onto there, if you're listening, you can click on the Harmonic Surge card list, which happens to be right on the splash page there. So we're gonna walk through it, but don't fret, don't worry. We're gonna talk these cards out as we get to the very first ones here. Holy smokes. These are beautiful cards. I am so excited already. So first things first, one thing I really wanted to look at when we got to this part here is the set list. How many cards are in the set? And looking at the very first one, it is 111 cards. So that is really good for collectors because it is not a massive set to where you are going to be discouraged from collecting them. You know, like Magic and Pokemon have 200 plus card sets. That is very hard and difficult to complete a master set, especially if you do reverses and all these other things to include promos. You know, with Nostalgix, it is straightforward. You got 111 cards. Some of these will likely be hollows, some of them will be voids, and then we have one gold card. So there won't be like a tremendous amount to collect, but it'll definitely take you ripping some packs to collect them all. So very well balanced in my opinion. But looking at the first few cards here on the list, I like that they're large enough to where you can only really see 3 cards at a time. And it kind of gives us a little chance to break them down. I'm very excited about this. Card number one in the set is Sergeant Surge, who is a dancer who has the ability Last Dance. If this fighter is at 1 health, when it attacks, draw a card and give it a +1 attack token before dealing damage. It also has Crescendo. If this fighter attacks this turn, give it a +1 attack token at the end of turn. So it kind of builds on itself, you know, which is a good mechanic. It is a 5-cost mech. I think that's the mech. What am I trying to think of? I'm blanking on its type. Its type. That I don't know why that was so difficult for me to conjure up in my mind, but its type. I'm really bad with the types, by the way. I'm gonna give you type names that probably aren't official, but you're gonna know them and recognize it by that. It is a 5-cost mech. It has 6 life, and it also has 2 armor, which is a brand new mechanic coming in Harmonic Surge. So we see a couple new things with this very first card, Sergeant Surge. First thing, the armor. Obviously, just said that it was a brand new mechanic. It's going to be a really cool one. It's like a shield, like a bubble shield. You have to destroy their armor before you can start touching them, their life, their health total. So, Sergeant Surge here has 2 armor and 5 attack. You would have to attack it and destroy its armor before any of the damage would apply to the health. So kind of gives it a little bit of a buffer, kind of helps with the problem that some people have been coming up across, especially in new games, new formats, where if somebody gets too many fighters on the board and you don't have fighters on the board, it can kind of stall the game a little bit and like it's a landslide against you. This kind of prevents that. So if you're throwing fighters out that have armor, it kind of makes it to where they're going to have to be attacked multiple times before they can go down, which is kind of nice because it allows you to, especially if they don't have charge, it allows a fighter to be able to survive a turn potentially to attack and actually give you a fighting chance as well. So I like the addition of that. I think it's really good. The other things that are brand new is its character type is a dancer, which is a brand new type. So think of it in terms of, like Turnip over here has mech. Some of these other cards from base set even have mech in them. That's a type. Foxes, when you have like Stack of Fox and Verox, those are all foxes. So there's a new type called Dancer. And then we also see 2 brand new abilities in here, Last Dance and Crescendo. So Sergeant Surge is full of brand new surprises here. Really happy to see that. Really happy to see that there's so many new things, new mechanics coming and kind of going on. But that's awesome. I'm happy to see it. Trying to move on here, we have number 2, which is Turnip. makes a return. His art on this is phenomenal. If you guys are on the audio side, definitely make sure you go check out the card list at some point because Turnip is amazing. I love that it's back. It's still a 3-cost card, which is great if you have Mob Arena. It's still a mech, so it has the traditional. Oh no, this is actually different. You may sacrifice a non-token fighter of yours. If you do, give this fighter +1 health and +1 attack. So it is a little bit different than his previous ability from base set. But it's kind of nice that we're getting like a regional variant, if you will, like in terms of Pokemon, a regional variant of Turnip. So that's kind of cool. He has 2 life and 1 shield, 1 armor. His attack is 1-up beat. Deal 1 damage for each non-token fighter you have in play. So essentially, the name of the game is stack your board with fighters. Multiple of these turnips would be your best bet, to be honest, as you'll have the damage will stack for all your different fighters, but that's how you get a good attack base for him. So really cool. And then for those who don't know, Turnip has been nicknamed the Eevee of Nostalgix. So it's going to have multiple evolutions in Harmonic Surge, which is really cool. Going into the first one we're going to see here on this list is card number 3, Mechanator, evolved from Turnip. And I like the addition. I truly think this was one of my biggest, I don't want to say pet peeves, but it was probably my biggest criticism with Nostalgix was that a fighter that evolves from a fighter, I should say, so like a stage 1, was so hard to tell at the beginning because in very small text it would say right above the name, evolves from Turnip. This time in Harmonic Surge, they fixed that problem. I am so thankful for that. They actually put a little circle, like a little bubble, with a picture of the base fighter form. So in Mechanator, it has a bubble that has the card art from Turnip on it, and it says above that, evolves from Turnip. So there's really no mistaking that something evolves from something. It's a pretty. I'm very happy that you did this, Zabun team. Very happy. Thank you so much. I know a lot of other people are as well. So once per turn, you may sacrifice a light. I think it's light fighter. If you do, give this fighter +4 life and +4 attack. Holy cow. And also no prize counters taken for sacrifices. He's an 8-cost with 12 life and 2 armor with a attack terminate of 9. So he's very high cost, but the reward is magnificent. Let's just say that. I've already got some deck ideas thinking about this, which I do want to take a moment to say this is my first look at this deck list too. I have not seen this deck list. I know I said it dropped earlier today. I've been working all day. I just got home. We are looking at this together for the first time. If you've not seen it, then it's for the first time together. But just seeing this card and kind of reading it, I've already got some ideas. I think this would be good with a Valkyrian deck, although I don't like the idea of sacrificing my precious Farron and Falhalas, but that might be something we do. All right, moving on. We've got Scaventinal. I'm probably butchering that bad. This is a 6-cost, 7-life mech. While this card is in play, it may be substituted for a single copy of Gundra, Aegisect, Metamix, or Excaliger when summoning Gamatron by fighter effects. Holy cow. So this is a substitute for one of those. So if you don't necessarily want to have a deck that has all 4 traditional game pieces, you can put Scaventinal. We're just going to call him the Iron Giant because, come on, he looks like the Iron Giant. The card art is mind-blowing. VMart killed this card. It is so good. It is so good. VMart, you are a phenomenal artist, my dude. I just have to say it. Um, so that's really cool. And his attack is armor up. Give a fighter of yours +4 armor. So that is really a good, nifty fighter to have, especially if you're trying to run a deck that's going to produce a lot of armor. That's great. But also for Gamatron, like this changes the Gamatron dynamic just a little bit. And I've kind of got like a little inkling of an idea of what something I want to do with this card too. But um, that's for 6 costs. It's really not bad. You throw Brecken into the mix. Not everybody wants to hear that, but if you throw Brecken in the mix, and you get, if you go second and you get Brecken, turn 4, you have scans the Iron Giant, the Iron Giant. I don't even know why I'm trying to butcher the name anymore, but all right. So next up we have Kai and Livewire. So we actually have 2 new variations of Kai and Livewire. So they're making a return as well. This time they look like they're HDMI. Kai is an HDMI cord, and Livewire is I forget what the actual the actual official term for this cord is, but it's the red, blue, and yellow that you'd see like the. It's right there at the tip of my tongue. I know it, but I can't think of it. But anyway, it's cool little play on cords, electric cords, that you use every day. So while Kai evolves into Livewire, it's actually kind of like devolving because it's going from HDMI to the old school red, blue, and yellow cords, which I think is kind of funny. I think it's clever. But they have new abilities as well. They're still serpents, but they have new abilities. Shocking. Fighters damaged by this deal 2 less damage during their owner's next turn before weakness or resistance. Also, it has Zap. They both have Zap. This fighter's attacks ignore armor. So, very cool. Still pretty good cost. 3 for Kai and 6 for Livewire with, I think, which is appropriate health, 4 to 8 respectively. So we're going to kind of move on. I'm trying to go a little bit faster on this. I don't want to spend too much time just going through each card, but we have a new one here. Bohemipe. I am butchering these. Zama's probably listening to this going, oh God, we got to send this guy back to school. All right, so he's a dancer. Give this fighter +1 attack token for each other dancer in play. So it makes it nice because if you have other dancers, if you're building a dancer deck, which is kind of the theme of the 3 cards we have on the row here, you get 1 attack buffs, tokens for each other one. So it's kind of nice. I could see where this might get a little bit hard to track if you're not using, like when I play, I'm guilty. When I play, I use dice. Don't like using +1 counters and things like that. Even in Magic, I really don't like using them. It's something I'm going to have to fix because this is going to be important. As if you have 2 additional dancers out, you get the 2+2 attack buff. But as soon as one goes down, one of those buffs ends and you only have a +1 attack buff. So you're going to have to just kind of keep an eye on that. But he's a 4 cost with 4 life, 2 armor, and an attack called Bite the Dust, which does 5 damage and summon a 1 life, 0 attack dancer token. So that even boosts him up too. This is the new Stack-a-Fox, ladies and gentlemen. This is the new Stack-a-Fox. Next up, we have Thrillip, which we did see a little spoiler for already, but he's a dancer as well, so same ability. But he has Beat Up. So if this attack targets a turnip, or evolution of turnip, the target is destroyed, even though it only does 4 damage. And I believe that the ability of this attack negates it. Armor does not matter because it says it's completely destroyed. So he is the anti-turnip. He is the hunter. So if somebody's running a turnip deck on you, you want to have Thrillip, at least a couple copies. Because that will, and I think Turnip is going to be a huge deck in the meta going forward with Harmonic Surge. So it might be a good option to stock up on some Thrillip. Next up, we have Olip, or Olay. I don't know if it's supposed to be like Olay-ip or Olip. I'm not really sure. It makes more sense in my mind if it's Olay because he's the type of dancer he is. Um, they even have the rose on his head for effect, which is really cool. He, again, is a dancer, and he's got the attack, Fan Flare, draw and reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a mech fighter, this attack does 3 more damage. So this is going to be a big boost to mech decks, or if you don't have a mech deck, this is a good addition to having a mech deck. You want to get this bad boy out there fast, you want to slap him down, and use that ability with other mechs on the field. You get 3 attack bonus. Now, it only says draw and reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a fighter, a mech fighter, this attack does 3 more damage. So it does not. Well, I guess it doesn't make sense. It would combine anyway because you're only drawing one card. But you combine this with, let's say, Detective Mako. Just saying. I'm just saying. Of course, there could be other heroes in this that we haven't seen yet that do just as good. But all right, we have Darumap. It kind of looks like Darmanitan, I'm not even going to lie, from Pokemon, and I'm kind of digging the vibes on it. I like it, but he evolves from Turnip. He's a 6-cost fighter, also a mech. Once per turn, you may sacrifice, I can't tell, is it a psychic fighter or a spirit fighter? If you do, give this fighter +3 health and +3 attack. So again, the whole Turnip thing of like sacrifice a certain fighter and you get these buffs, that applies here as well. So 6 cost, 8 life, 2 armor, 6 attack, lucky burn. I'm definitely going to be building a Turnip deck. Everybody's going to build a Turnip deck. I'm telling you now, but I'm going to build a cool one. Everybody else's, their decks aren't cool. Mine's going to be cool. I got a shout out, by the way, to Sparkle Ice and Caffeine, 0 sugar. This is really helping me not drink pop. So, and yes, I said pop. If you say soda, your opinions are invalid to me. I just want to clarify that real quick. My son started saying soda, and it's irritating me. He is not irritating me. It's just the fact that he says soda, and I don't know where he learned it from. All right, but moving on. Next card up, we have Toxifox. So we've kind of already seen this in the promos from last year, or a correction, it's from this year, the first quarter conventions. Toxifox was a promo, but it's a 1-cost, 3-life fox with Vulpine Venom. You may deal any amount of non-fatal damage to one of your fox fighters. If you do, deal double that amount as damage to an opponent's fighter or hero. So this might actually work. If you can combine this with like some heal type stuff, that might be pretty good. Or if you combine it with something like Aegisect, where something's getting, life, or if you go back up to the Iron Giant, where you're getting that's +4 armor, that's not +4 health. Never mind, disregard that. There's a lot of things you can do with Toxifox, though. He's going to enhance the Fox decks, and I'm not looking forward to it. Trazia is probably out there going, I'm ready for it, but I am not. Next up, we have another rare card, Lady Laveau. She's a demon. Once per turn, you may pay 4 mana to give a demon fighter of yours Death Touch. Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. Okay, I like this. Zaba likes this. If anybody's ever played Zaba's fun deck, well, his good deck, it's also fun. This is dangerous. This will enhance my Death Touch deck that I already have. So I'm very happy about this. I even have the Lilith line in my deck, which is great because they're all demons. Okay, I like this. I like this one a lot. It's a 5-cost with 6 life. It also has the attack hexproof. Choose one of your fighters. They may not be targeted by attacks during your opponent's next turn. Fantastic card. That is a fantastic ability. They get immune from everything from attacks by your opponent's next turn. That's big. That's big. All right. Moving on, we have 3 cards we've already seen, but they're very cool nonetheless. We've got Frenemy, which is the anti friend card here. I love the look of it. I love the artwork. And again, it's VMart coming through with some fantastic artwork here. Well done, friend, or Frenemy, I should say. It's a 2-cost with 4 life. It is a fiend, and it has the ability Last Dance. If this fighter is at 1 health, when it attacks, draw a card and give it a +1 attack token before dealing damage. Charge, which it allows you to fight immediately, and summon this fighter onto your opponent's side of the field. This fighter attacks each turn it is able. Oh my god. And its attack is Sabotage, ironically, which is deal 1 damage to your hero. So the cool thing about Frenemy, there's a couple cool things actually. Let me just explain this. You play for 2 costs, you play Frenemy. It goes onto your opponent's side. As far as I know, and maybe there's a ruling or a errata change later or something that I'm not aware of yet, but it's going to take up one of your opponent's fighter spaces. And on top of that, it has the attack where it must attack each turn it is able to, deal 1 damage to your hero. You know what's great though is that if you hit it for 3 damage and you get it down to 1 life, it gets Last Dance, which is you draw a card when it attacks, draw a card and give it a +1 attack token, which means you're hitting your opponent's hero for +1 on top of its 1 each turn. You get 4 of these out, and if you can get them onto your opponent's side, they might be done and over with faster than you think. Frenemy can be a real pain if you are not careful with it. All right, we got Unlucky Frog, another card we've seen before, and I dig this artwork just as much as the others. Edwin-san, you did phenomenal on there as well. Holy cow. So it's a 2-cost, 3 life frog. If a player draws more than 1 card in turn, their hero takes 1 damage for each card drawn past the first. And it has the attack Corrupted Lily. During your opponent's turn, the first dice roll they perform will have a result of 1. So this is essentially the anti-Lucky Frog, just like Frenemy was the anti-friend. But if you're playing somebody who runs dice roll decks, my brother Drake, then this is a great card to have. And I will 100% be playing this in a deck against his Gambler's Gambit deck just to irritate him. And then next we have Puppetto. We've seen this. It's a puppet. When this is played, give each other puppets in play +2 life and +1 attack. No strings attached. Sacrifice a puppet. Fully heal one of your fighters. And Ventriloquist for 4 damage. It's a 5-cost with 8 life. So it's actually pretty good for I would say it's mid-tier cost. It's mid-tier. Not bad. Rock 'em and roll 'em. This is one of the cards that I actually spoiled because it came in one of my packs. I thought it was a really cool concept too. He's a 4-cost, 3 life, 3 armor fiend with taunt. So taunt, again, if you don't know, means that this fighter must be attacked before all others, or before non-taunt fighters, I should say. And then its attack, hold the line, 2+, so it does 2 damage for each, it does 2 more damage for each fighter with taunt you control. So if you have a deck full of taunt fighters, I don't know if that includes tokens. I feel like it would include tokens. I'm have to get clarification on that, but I feel like it would include tokens. So if you do a bunch of Stumpkin and whatever else taunt fighters, or you give fighters taunt, yeah, you're rocking and rolling. See what I did there? Okay, I'll move on. Mushrift Mage is a spirit. Last Dance is another one of the fighters that we've seen from the very beginning, which is really cool. 3-cost, 5 life, has Spore Cord, and restore 1 life for each dancer fighter you control. It's pretty good. If you're running a dancer deck, this is good. Musical Frog is a frog with Crescendo as its ability, and 3-cost, 4 life, Echoing Croak is the attack for 3. And here we get to some new ones, some kind of new ones. We have Botticelli, which I think is phenomenal. Edward-san, well done. It's a beast with Zap as its ability, and Zap says this fighter's attacks ignore armor. So you have a fighter with armor out that you normally would have to get rid of the armor before you deal damage to them. If you have a fighter like Botticelli, it's just going to ignore the armor and it's going straight for the health, which is a pretty cool like counter to the armor mechanic. So it's kind of what I really, this set, in my opinion, is really well rounded. Very happy with what I'm seeing so far. But 4 cost, 6 life, and it does 5 damage for its attack. Half Shell Slice. Next up, we have another mech. It's Beats. Another evolution for Turnip. 4 cost, 5 life, 2 armor. It's a mech. Once per turn, you may sacrifice a firefighter. If you do, this gets +3 life and +3 attack. So again, common theme with Turnip evolutions. Sacrifice a fighter, a specific type of fighter, and you get buffs. Has an attack of Run Over for 4 damage. After that, we have Magnifox, which is a fox. When this fighter comes into play, you may equip an equipment your opponent controls to this fighter. The equipment stays on your opponent's side of the field. So not only does it take up one of their slots for equipment, you get to reap the benefits. So then it's attack, magnetic draw, destroy any number of equipment attached to this fighter, draw a card for each equipment destroyed in this way, and magnetic haul, which does 3 damage. But we're getting up to some of my favorite fighters. You guys probably already know. I've talked about it in the Discord a little bit. First up, we have Dubstoad, which I do enjoy Dubstoad. I think it's a really cool one. It's a dancer, so give it a +1 attack token for every other dancer. It's a 7 cost, 10 life, 2 armor card, and its attack Berg, which I think is pretty funny, very comical. Bind and deal 3 damage to each of your opponent's fighters. You can't use this attack twice in a row. And its other attack is Wubbit for 6 damage. So very nice. I love the themed attack names for it. I just love it. My favorite line so far from what I've seen, just from spoilers, is this line right here. Tomepire, which is a spirit. Once per turn, you may stack a card from your void under this fighter. This fighter gains +1 life and 1 attack for each card stacked this way. So it's continuously building on itself. When destroyed, send stack cards to the void. It's a 4 cost, 3 life. Paper Wisp is the attack. Void cards from the top of your opponent's deck equal to the number of cards stacked under this fighter. So the more cards you have under here, the more cards get milled out. This is going to be a fantastic addition to mill decks. For those who have played my mill deck already, look out. That's all I have to say. You know this is coming. Tomepire evolves into Grimhold, which is a 6 cost, 5 life spirit fighter. It's got the same attack or same ability, except for this fighter gains +2 life and +2 attack for each card stacked this way. And its attack Page Rage is void cards from the top of your deck, your opponent's deck, equal to the number of cards stacked under this fighter. So it's the same attack, same ability. It just builds as it gets bigger. Scrolling down, its final evolution is Gadragon, which is a playoff guitar dragon. Rush for Tacos, doing it again. He is the artist, if you did not know, for Booster Box Dragon in its line, which happens to be one of my favorite fighter lines out there. He did it again with another dragon line, and I am happy about it. I'm very happy about it. He is an 8 cost, 8 life, 6 armor attacker dragon, and he has the same ability, but he gains 3 life and 3 attack for each card stacked under him. And his attack Fiery Solo is the same as the aforementioned, but this one does 6 damage as opposed to the other ones, which did 2 and 1. But void cards from the top of your opponent's deck equal to the number of cards stacked under this fighter. So You can see where this gets out of hand real quick if you are not careful. And if you run a mill deck, you're going to want these. Bullfrog, next up, he's another frog. This fighter may not attack 2 turns in a row, but he is a 2 cost, 2 life, 2 armor card, but his attack, Bull Rush, does 5 damage. So he's kind of like a one-trick pony, but just costs less, and he can only attack every other turn. Croakroar is a 5 cost, 5 health, 2 armor fighter that evolves from Bullfrog. And it also has the same thing. This fighter may not attack 2 turns in a row, but he's got an attack Rampaging Charge for 10 damage. That is pretty big. But, I mean, all in all, it's pretty good. It's a really good card. It's good to throw out there for when you need some kind of attackers, or if you're in kind of a bind and you need something, that's really good to go for. Next up, we have Crab Reva. I said Crab Reva. I completely dyslexic on that. It's Crab Rave. I just got the 4 and the 3 mixed up. But this is another evolution of Turnip. He's got the same ability as the others, but if you sacrifice a water fighter, you get the 3 health, 3 attack. He's a 5 cost with 6 life and 2 armor, and he has the attack High Hat Hit for 5 damage. Now we have the line that I was really looking forward to seeing. It's the Lilith line of Harmonic Surge, but it's Lilith's sister in her line. So start off with Afri, which is a demon. Once per turn, you may discard a card from your hand to give another fighter charge. Ooh, that is going to be cool. It's a 2 cost, 3 life. Starbound Gaze is the attack for 2 damage. And it evolves into Ephrita, which is a 4 cost, 6 life demon, which has the same thing. You may discard a card from your hand to give another fighter charge and +2 attack. So we're building on that effect there. Judging Glare for 4 damage. And that evolves into Ephraith. Or Afrith. Maybe it's Afrith. But this is the card that was teased a while back. Very excited to see this. I hope this one is a holographic. I really do. I don't know if it is or not, but I really hope it is a holographic. Another demon, 6 cost for 9 life. And once per turn, you may discard a card from your hand to give all of your fighters charge. So that's pretty cool. So you evolve Ephrita into Ephraith, and then you put a bunch of other fighters out, or you just have Ephraith out, and then your next turn, when you start slapping a bunch of lower cost fighters out or whatever, you just discard a card and give them all charge so they can attack right away. She's got 2 attacks, Havoc Whip for 6 damage, and Unholy Malice. So that's pretty cool one too. We got the next line, which is a dinosaur line. I know somebody in the Discord was asking for dinosaurs, but we've got Reptilium and Surgosaurus. So Reptilium is a 3 cost, 3 life dinosaur with Shocking, and it also has Zap. And its attack, Jurassic Jolt, does 2 damage, and it evolves into Surgosaurus, which is a 6 cost, 7 life dinosaur. Same thing, Shocking with Zap, and its attack, Circuit Breaker, does 6 damage. So that's a pretty good mid-tier evolution line there. And again, another teased and spoiled set, but we got the Meduset line again, all as light type fighters this time. So Meduset, Gorgodot, and Venomusa, they're regional variants once again. Very much looking forward to using these, but they are Marines this time. So kind of going in with the Nakura line. So there you go, Minnow. Shout out to you, Mini Minnow. But they have Shocking and Zap as their abilities. They all do, actually. Meduset is a 2 cost with 2 life. Gorgodot is a 4 cost with 5 life. And Venomusa is a 6 cost with 8 life. So moving on, we have one of the coolest cards out there, which is a limit break card. So one of the Kickstarter options for certain people was if you paid, I think it was like the $8,000 tier, to be honest, you could have your own card made that could either be a limited of 100 card or it could be featured in the set. And one of the guys decided they were going to do a card for the second set. And this one is none other than Hardy, which is the first. Oh, no, it's not a hero. It's a fighter. But it's the first limit break we've seen in a set. Might be the only one, actually. 4 cost, 4 life, Dancer. And it is immune to binding. And it also has Last Dance. So its attack, Releve Rush, I think, for 2 damage. And it gives adjacent fighters +2. Attack, that is. Just gives them +2 of everything. No, just +2 attack. Then we have Narwhal, which is another Marine. 3 cost for 2 life and pop off for 3 damage. So pretty decent fighter for low cost, honestly. Pretty good one. Slick Rat is a Fiend, 2 cost, 3 life, and his attack is pick a card. So you draw 3 cards face down, select one and add it to your hand. Your opponent selects one to send to the void. Place a remaining card on the bottom of your deck. If the voided card was a surprise, this attack deals 5 damage to anything. So that's pretty cool. So it's kind of up to your opponent to pick a card that's not a surprise. Good luck. All right, we have another cool little line here that we've seen a little bit from Secret Shards, and that's Harp Fly and Jazzy Fly. And Jazzy Fly being the card that we've actually seen made into Secret Shards. But Harp Fly is a 2 cost, 3 life winged creature with Crescendo and 2 attacks, Inspiring Concerto and Flyby. So it evolves into Jazz Fly, which is a 4 cost, 6 life fighter with Crescendo 2, which basically is it's the same thing as Crescendo, just instead of giving it the +1 attack token, it gets a +2 attack token. And it's got its 2 attacks, Inspiring Concerto and Jazz Blast. And then we get another remake of Witchy Longlegs. So another mage, immune to biting, and Last Dance. It's a 4 cost, 5 life. I love the fact, I just noticed, I love the fact that it has fish out of water skating on the outside of it too. It's a really cool touch. Really cool. I like that one. But it has 2 attacks as well, Topsy Turvy and Risque Roll. So we have Friend coming back as well. You guys know you can't have Friend without Frenemy, and you can't have Frenemy without Friend. So he's a Fiend. You may have more than 4 Friend cards in your deck. If there are multiple of these in play, you may stack them together and add the remaining health together at any time during your turn. And then it's a 2 cost and 4 life, which is what it was for the base set as well. And it has a attack called Turn the Table and deal 2 more damage for each frenemy in play. So honestly, if you play Friend and Frenemy in a deck, you get bonuses and buffs off each other. That's kind of cool. I'm not going to lie, that's kind of cool. Another line that was spoiled by yours truly was the Floatant line, and it's because I pulled one of the holographics, the rare card in this, but it's a 3-line evolution fighter set again. Floatant is a 1 cost, 1 life, 1 armor insect with 1 attack damage, tubular toss. It evolves into Buoyant, like buoyant, but Buoyant. 4 cost, 4 life, 2 armor. It's an insect with an attack Torpedant for 4 damage, and summon a 1 life, 1 attack insect token. So we got new tokens in this as well. That's pretty cool. And then its final evolution is Frigant, 9 cost, 9 life, 4 armor, insect, 2 attacks, Ant Flurry, and Antlanche, which is pretty cool. One of the lines that I think a lot of people are going to be the most excited for, though, is the Toxalotl line, which has Toxalotl, 1 cost, 2 attack, or 2 life, evolves into Chillzalotl, 3 cost, 5 life. And then it goes into Napsolotl, 7 cost, 10 life. And they all have Shocking as their ability. And the art on this is just this is hands down one of my favorite art lines right here. The artwork for these are truly spectacular. Who's that? Siri Langell? Phenomenal job on these. Chillzolotl and even Napsolotl, fantastic. Top tier artwork. I love it. And then we got Non-Fungible Toad, which we've seen a little bit of in VR. I'm going to kind of just skip over some of these ones we've seen a little bit of already. Console evolves from AR. It's a 4 cost, 4 life, 2 armor. And it evolves into Arcade, a 6 cost, 6 life, 4 armor crystal. They're all crystals. And they all have, during this turn, you may sacrifice this fighter. If you do, give each of your fighters plus 2 armor. Or in Console's case, it's plus 1 armor. Same with VR. But that's kind of a cool line as well. Next up, we have Binerling, which we did just see in the Secret Shards, the most recent Secret Shards. But if you didn't see it, it's a spirit, 2 cost, 2 life. It's basically a glitch. It's really cool looking. I'm not even going to lie. And its evolution is looking even cooler. Colossus. Holy cow. It's basically Gamatron glitched out, which is so cool. It's a 12 cost. I don't even know. What? 12 cost, 10 life fighter. This fighter costs 1 less to play for each 1 cost fighter and token you have in play. So you get a bunch of tokens, 1 life, for each for 1 cost fighter and token fighter you have in play. So yeah, it's got to be, you just want to stack the field with those tokens and 1 cost fighters, and brings the cost of this severely down. And then you evolve it. Colossus. There you go. It's got some really cool attacks too. Data mining and error code. All right, we are moving into some spells now, it looks like. We've got Gamatron Slice for 7. That's a high cost. Deals damage to anything equal to half the quantity of cards in all players' voids rounded down. So you combine the total number of cards in each player's void, you round down, do half the damage. So if somebody's running a mill deck and you play this, or if you are running a mill deck and you play this, oh, buddy, that's another card I'm adding to mine. Double Time, I think we may have seen this already, but Double Time is a 6 cost spell card. Double all tokens in token fighters in play, then bind all token fighters. So this is actually a really good card that would work with Colossus, which would be really cool. That's a cool mechanic. All right. Continuing on here, we have some more spells. Chain Lightning for 3 cost. Deal 3 damage to a fighter and 1 damage to fighters adjacent to it. That's pretty cool. If you want to get rid of tokens, there's a great way to do it. Cheer Pyramid. This one is interesting. I seen this one. Somebody was talking about it in the Discord, but it's a 4 cost. Combine all your token fighters into a single token fighter with combined health and attack. Give this newly created token Taunt and Charge. So, yeah, you want to make a Colossus out of tokens. There you go. That's the card for you. EMP, 4 cost. Negate all of your opponent's fighters' abilities during their next turn. The mechs may not evolve or attack until the start of your next turn. Yeah, so mech decks, which have kind of ruled a lot of gameplay. No. Not no more. We're putting a stop to that. I like it. We have Frog of Duality, 3 cost. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 of them to your hand, and place the other 2 on the bottom of your deck in any order. Frog of Greed, 3 cost with, it just says draw 2 cards. So there you go. Plain and simple. That's actually a really good draw mechanic too for a low cost. Next up, 3 cost Wish Upon a Frog. Permanently fill 1 mana crystal. You always have this single mana to use. Permanent mana spends the same as non-permanent mana, but will instantly refill after the card or ability it is being used for is played. Permanent mana cannot be stored in Fanny Pack. So, we're kind of talking about those 1-cost fighters and everything earlier. You want to build a Colossus deck? You need to have this. You need to have this for your 1-cost fighters and tokens and everything else. We have another one, Next Track. 5 cost. All players must send at least 1 card from their hand to the bottom of their deck and draw an equal number of cards from the top of their deck. If a player has no cards in their hand, they draw 1 card. Next up is Pulling String. He's got some really cool artwork from Puppet Master Wrong there, but it's a 2 cost. Create a 2 health, 1 attack puppet token with Taunt. So, for those Puppet Master Wrong decks out there, this is a good way. If you have 4 of these in your deck, let's just say theoretically you get all 4 of them in your hand at the same time. You have a Puppet Master Wrong already in play. You slap 4 of these bad boys down, you get your 4 puppet tokens, and then you're swinging for 12 damage with your Wrong at somebody. It's pretty good. Next up is Armor Up. That's a card we've seen already. 3 cost. Give 2 of your fighters +2 armor. Still one of my favorite artworks from the entire set, from everything I've seen. Well done, V-Mart. The flavor text on it is hilarious, by the way. Tonight, we dine in Void. And here we are in the Void podcast. We have Costume Change for 3 cost. Unequip and re-equip your equipment in play in any way. So if you've got some stuff that you've got equipped to certain fighters that no longer benefit them and you need to rearrange your equipment a little bit, that's a good way to do it. Encore, 5 cost. Give each of your fighters and fighter tokens Last Dance. Fighters with Last Dance get, if this fighter is at 1 health, when it attacks, draw a card and give it a +1 attack token. And then we have Energy Drink for 2 cost. Target fighter gains charge this turn. And then you draw a card, which is phenomenal. We've needed a card like this for a while. And I'm telling you now, this card can be the difference in a game going stale or not. Because it's only a 2 cost. It's really low cost. You can give something charge right away. So if you've got your mid game, let's say 5-6 mana, and you put a 3 or 4 cost card out, and you need to attack right away, you give it the energy drink, and boom, it is going, baby. That's good. That's really good. All right, we've got for a 2 cost here, we've got Flash Mob. All your fighters are immune to binding until the start of your next turn. All right, 2 cost. Flip side. Choose an effect. So we've got a card where you literally get to choose what you want to do. That's kind of cool. I like the addition. Flip side. Choose an effect. Deal 2 damage to a fighter or restore 2 life to a fighter. So that's kind of nifty. I like it. That's going in my decks. Next up is Force Field for 3 cost. Is give a fighter +4 armor. I really like that. That's a good one. Frog Dispenser, 3 cost. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for a frog fighter and add it to your hand. Place the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. So that's a good one. Good Vibrations is a 5 cost card. Restore 4 life to a fighter and restore 2 life to each adjacent fighter. So that's a pretty good heal card right there. Jam Session. I think we've seen a little bit of this one already too. It is a 3 cost with the ability draw a card for each draw a card for each fighter you have in play, not including tokens. So good draw mechanic as well if you got a lot of things out. Raise the Roof is a 2 cost for Destroy an Arena. So this can come in handy during certain times when you just need to get rid of an arena and you just don't have an arena to put out there, or you don't want an arena in play at all. That's a good one. Next up is Show Off, which features my little baby card dragon. I love it. 5-cost spell. Each player chooses a fighter from their hand and reveals it simultaneously. The highest cost fighter of the two is summoned regardless of evolution. Cards with Gamatron in their name cannot be selected with this card's effect. Holy cow. Each player chooses a fighter from their hand. The highest cost gets to be played. So if I have a 9-cost Jellyfin in my hand and you have a 10-cost, what is 10 cost? What do we have that's 10 cost? Let's just say you have Grotbloom. You get to play Grotbloom right away. That is amazing. And it's regardless of evolution. So that is amazing. So if you have a Grotbloom or a Jellyfin in your hand and you think, I'm going to be able to get this off just with a 2 or with a 5 cost, that's a good way to go about it. And skipping evolutions there. So that's going to be a game changer for sure. Next up is Soothing Melody for 2 cost. Restore 3 life to any target and remove all conditions. Fantastic artwork on that one too. We have Crowd Surf for 2 cost. Void 2 cards from the top of your deck. Draw 1. Unyeet is a card. That is the card name. Unyeet for 1 cost. Discard 2 cards from your hand, search your void, reveal a card from there, and place it into your hand. That is phenomenal. That's going to work really well with extra lives or things that are really hard to come by and that you need. That is really good. It's kind of like Rewind Time. It's got the effect is not great with the discard 2, but it's 1 cost. So, yeah. All right, we're moving into equipment, and this is something that was mentioned a little bit earlier. Fanny Pack. So we have 2 cost equipment Fanny Pack. You may deposit any amount of non-permanent mana you have into this equipment for future use. You may remove any amount of mana from this equipment to give yourself an equivalent quantity of temporary mana this turn. If equipped to your hero, it is not destroyed when your hero takes damage. Holy cow. So you could take Fanny Pack, equip it to your hero, and then let's say you're on turn 4, you only spend 2 mana, and you have 2 extra. You can deposit it into the Fanny Pack, and then bring it up next turn if you want for 2 extra mana. That's fantastic. I can't wait for that. We've got Team Jacket for 3 cost. Gain +1 attack for each fighter and fighter token you control. Next after that is Diss Track for 2 cost. This card enters play with 3 time counters on it. Remove a time counter from this card at the end of your opponent's turn. When this card has 0 time counters on it, the attached fighter or hero takes 6 damage and the equipment is destroyed. Okay, so you would attach it to an opponent's fighter, essentially, is what you would want to attach it to. Or if you have something that you want to take damage or be destroyed, then there you go. Next up, Glowing Mask for 4 cost is give the equipped fighter or hero +5 armor. When the equipped target's armor reaches 0, destroy this equipment. Deal 5 damage to the source that reduced the target's armor to 0. If it was a non-fighter card, deal 5 damage to that player 0. So there's no getting around it. You're going to take 5 damage. So pretty cool. That's a pretty good equipment. It's like Rocky Helmet from Pokemon. That's what I'm thinking of. Next up, we have Boomer Base for 3 cost. The equipped fighter gets +1 attack and gains when this fighter deals damage. Target opponent voids a number of cards from the top of their deck equal to the damage dealt. If equipped to a hero, give +2 attack instead. Holy cow. That's going to be great for mill decks again. We're getting a lot of options for mill decks, and I'm very excited about that. Next up, we have Dancing Shoes for 1 cost. The equipped fighter or hero is immune to binding. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful, because I hate binding. I hate binding with a passion. We have Flashy Suit next For 3 cost, the equipped fighter or hero may block an attack and become the attack's new target. This effect can be used more than once in a turn. So the equipped fighter or hero may block an attack and become the attack's new target. So essentially, it's being able to declare a defender, kind of like you would in Magic. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. It's Squirrel Distraction, but better. All right, we have Broken Amp for 2 cost. When the equipped fighter attacks, roll a d10. If the result was a 9 or 10, deal double damage prior to weakness or resistance. If equipped to a hero, give +2 attack instead. Banana Peel. Oh, we're getting into surprises now. 2 cost, Banana Peel. When a fighter of yours is attacked, pause the attack. Deal 3 damage to the attacking fighter. Resume the attack if the attacking fighter was not destroyed by damage. This is some Mario Kart madness going on right here. Some banana shenanigans. It's that's pretty good. That's gonna be a cool surprise, and it's low cost. So it's kind of like being able to hit something back without hitting something back. Backup Dancers is a 4 cost surprise. When your hero is attacked, pause the attack. Summon 2 life, 1 attack puppet tokens with taunt. Change the attack target to one of these puppet tokens. So again, another way to get some puppets on the field. That's not bad. That's really not bad. Kind of boosting up the Puppet Master Wrong here. We have Mixtape, which is X for its cost, meaning you pay any amount to play the surprise face down. You may counter any opponent's spell that costs 1 more mana than you paid for this surprise and use its effect as your own immediately. So for decks running Chrono Krios, kind of like what I have in one of my decks, this is a card you do not want to come across because they can take your extra life, your void cast, whatever you're trying to do to pull something out of the void or play, and they use it against you, which is devastating. So this kind of terrifies me from a Chrono Krios deck standpoint, but also there's counters to this. So reverse being one of them, you know. But we have another one here, Dance Fatigue, 2 cost, bind everything that attacked this turn. So not bad. You play it at the end. I think you would want to play it at the end of your opponent's turn when they get done attacking, and everything can't attack next turn. It's bound. Another one, Fast Reflexes for 2 cost. When your opponent activates a card that would bind one or more of your fighters, negate that effect. Make all fighters you control immune to binding until the end of your next turn. I'm going to be running some of these in my decks because I hate bind, and that is going to be a lifesaver for those decks. Just saying that now. We have, we got some really good surprises in this lineup here. Stop, wait a minute. 4 cost, negate an attack, fully heal the target of the attack if the target was a fighter. So that is pretty ballin', I'm just going to say. I'm liking that one. Total Recall is a 2 cost surprise. Negate an attack that targets one of your fighters and return the attacked fighter and any pre-evolutions of it to your hand. Any equipment attached to it returns your hand as well. So essentially, instead of taking the damage and just being blown out, like especially if you were gonna die from it and your fighter was gonna die, then you just recall it back to your hand, essentially. Laser Barrier, which is my favorite art of this whole set so far. I don't think it's gonna change if I'm being completely honest. Is Laser Barrier for 5 cost. Negate an attack. No additional fighters can attack this turn. Your opponent's cards cost 1 more mana to play for the rest of their turn. So if you got somebody that likes to attack first and then play second, this is the card to have. You want the surprise. But it negates an attack coming at you. No additional fighters can attack this turn. and your opponent's cards cost 1 more mana to play. It's pretty good. Moving on, we have Expensive Card, which is one that I think I had in one of my decks, or in one of my packs. 4 cost, and remove a fighter from the game. Its owner can get it back by paying 10 mana during their turn to summon it to their side of the field. So pretty good way to kind of get rid of some cards and like really overprice them. I'm liking like a lot of these are good ways to like negate each other's things, and there's so many options that there's no way that these games are going to be stale. There's no way some of these games, if you're running some of these cards, you're not gonna run into these. These are cards to kind of get you out of jail if you get behind in the game. That's what these are. Next up, we have Upstaged, which is a 4-cost surprise. When an opponent attacks a fighter of yours with less than 5 health left, pause the attack. Deal 1 damage to all of your opponent's fighters. Then resume the attack if the attacking fighter was not destroyed by this damage. So pretty cool. Again, it's like the one we saw above, which was which one was it? I don't remember, but it's like one of those ones. And now we're getting into some arenas. Pure Chaos, one of my favorite ones, and one I pulled recently. 5 cost. All fighters cost their evolution level to play. They still have to evolve. Each fighter is bound the first turn they are placed into play. Fighters with printed cost of 9 mana or above cannot be summoned by this arena's effect. So no Jellyfant, no Grotbloom, anything like that. But it severely reduces cost of evolution lines. So a lot of people were, I won't say a lot of people. There were some complaints about evolutions being not even worth it to play in this game, which I completely disagree with to begin with. This eliminates that. So you want to play some evolution lines, you want Pure Chaos in your deck. We got Lava Floor. All fighters have charge. Fighters with charge can attack immediately. Deal 1 damage to each of a player's fighters at the end of their turn. This damage cannot reduce a fighter below 1 life. So you want some real chaos. This is the one you want, Lava Floor. We also have another arena here, Frog Sanctuary, which happens to be a crossover with Poliwag, which is another TCG that was coming out. I don't think it actually did fully like expand into anything. I think it kind of fizzled out already. I could be wrong, but it's a 3-cost card, and it says all fighters take 1 less damage from all sources and are immune to Death Touch. So your opponent's playing Death Touch decks, you slap out Frog Sanctuary, you're pretty much good until they knock it out of play, but you're good for a little bit. We have Half Speed is another arena here for 4 cost. Each turn, a player's current mana refills to half their maximum mana, rounded down. Not a bad one. All right, as we get down to the final 3 arenas here, we have Hunting Season, which we have seen already, but it's a 3 cost for every time a fighter token is summoned, deal 1 damage to its owner hero. We have New Game, which gives us, it's a 3 cost for all fighters' attacks deal 2 more damage after weakness or resistance. All spells, equipment, and surprises cost 1 less to play. So that's a pretty playable card right there. I feel like a lot of people are going to have this in their deck. Even though it does give your opponents the same effects. I mean, if you have an accelerated damage output type of deck, then this is for you. And then the last one is Gated Event. It's a little bouncer. He's a little Panboo bouncer. It's a 4 cost. No evolution fighters may be placed onto the field. This includes those returned from the void or played by a card's effect. During a player's turn, they may discard up to 2 level 2 or higher fighters from their hand to gain half the combined mana cost of those fighters, rounded up as temporary mana. So not bad. Even though it might keep you from evolving fighters in your game, if you discard 2 of them, you get at least half that mana rounded up. Not bad. All right, and that was number 105 out of 111. So the last 6 cards should be all heroes, and it looks like they are. Ooh. It looks like they are. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this list and I'm just blown away. So we have Kazira Liko is our first hero. 40 life, and it has the ability once during your turn, you may pay 2 mana to give a fighter +1 armor. We have King Frigus Diesel, which has the ability once during your turn, you may pay 2 mana to place a lucky shield on a fighter. When attacking a fighter with a lucky shield, that player must roll a die. Even if the attack does nothing, lucky shield breaks. Lucky shields break at the start of your next turn. That's awesome. So it kind of gives you a way to negate potential damage. He's going to see a lot of play. King Frigus Diesel is going to see a lot of play. I already feel it. I've got some decks already coming to mind, I think, for him too. Next up, we have Fantasia Stella. Once during your turn, you may remove exactly 2 cards from your void from the game. If you do, draw a card from the bottom of your deck. I feel like this is going to be one that's not played very much. That's just my personal opinion. I could be very wrong on that. I don't know about that mechanic, though. We have Devante Morte, which, if you didn't know, has a little background, a little story that's already put out on the Nostalgix webpage. Make sure you go read that or listen to it now. He's got AI voice for all the stories, which is pretty cool. But Devante Morte is 40 life. Once during your turn, you may pay 1 mana to give a fighter of yours Crescendo. Oh, you know what? Before we move on real quick, let's go back to the last hero, Fantasia Stella. The other reason why I think it might not be used as much is her life is only 35. She does not start at 40 life like traditional heroes. All right, and moving on to number 110 out of 111, the last of the regular heroes, we are getting Neo Delios. Once during your turn, you may pay 1 mana to summon a 1 health, 1 attack mech token. He's going to see a lot of play. I'll tell you that now. He is definitely going to see a lot of play. Now we're getting into the Void Rares, which, holy cow, these are so good. These are so good. If you guys are listening on the audio-only podcast side, make sure you go check these cards out. First Void, which is number 111 out of 111, is Hardy, the Limit Break card, as a Void Rare. So nothing changes on these Void Rares. They're just special arts. I love the black border. I think the darker design gives more life to the actual art on the inside, especially something like Hardy here, which is very vibrant in color. The black border gives, in the black like text boxes and such, give it so much more life, in my opinion. The next Void Rare is Pupetto, and man, does that thing look creepy. I love it. That is going to be one of my chase voids right there for sure. But probably, yeah, looking at all these, probably my biggest void chase is the next one. Also, real quick, Pupetto is number 112 out of 111. So they're technically secret rares beyond that. So Hardy was the last one in the actual set as the only void in the actual set. All the other void rares are secret rares just because they go beyond the 111 set. But the next void we have on here is Afrith, and that is menacing. That is beautiful. I cannot wait to pull that. I really hope my first box I open has her as a void rare in it, because that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Next up, we have Sergeant Surge with some pretty cool artwork. I love his little display thing he's got going on there. It's like a Yu-Gi-Oh type of thing, but he's a pretty cool looking one too. One of the best looking void rares, though, in my opinion, is the Unlucky Frog, which is number 115 out of 111. And it's such a good art, man. It's cartoony, but it's like anime style. I can't think of what anime it reminds me of. So if you guys are watching, whether it's on the YouTube side or the audio side, let me know what anime or what show that reminds you of that art style. But it's really good. I don't know. It's kind of got like the Dragon Ball thing where you got King Frigus Diesel in the background over there, but Frenemy's kind of floating, or friend, excuse me, is floating. Turnip is being walked hand in hand. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. Next we have Kazira Liko as the Void. There's just something about this art that just is very beautiful. Not sure about her hand there. I can't wait to see the actual story and like design behind her, but that's a very cool looking one. One of the coolest ones I didn't realize. Oh, there's more. Oh, okay. Okay, there's a lot of voids in this. Real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 voids. Okay, so Afrith is my one I want the most. I think. I don't know. Tied for first and second. Let's say that is Afrith and King Frigus Diesel, because that dragon is unbelievably cool. V-Mart is just so talented, but look at that menacing stare. That is so cool. I cannot wait for that. That is definitely my top two chases. After that is Devante Morte with a very dark, almost Halloween feel to it. But man, that is so cool. I like that one too. It's a very dark, like dark purple, I don't know, picture. And then he's got like flames coming out of him. That is really sweet. And kind of the same with the next one, Neo Delios. He's floating on a rock playing guitar, and I don't know what that is behind him, but that is menacing. What does it say? Fambach? Femibach? Not really sure. But that's going to be a cool one too. And then after that, we have Fantasia Stella, number 120 out of 111. She looks cool. She's almost like she's a void version of herself. I don't know what you'd like, an astral being almost, It's a dark background, but she's all completely like white and blue and glowing. So it's kind of like she's a void astral type of version of herself, which I think is phenomenal. And then moving on beyond that, we have one that we did not see in the main set. So this is a card that is void rare only, and it is Vargas. Once during your turn, you may pay 2 mana to choose an effect, draw 1 card, or deal 2 damage to a fighter with armor. So not bad. This is going to be one that might get some use from me even. It is a gamble because you have to pay your 2 mana to get one of these effects, but you're also only starting with 30 life because he only has a 30 life total. So that's interesting, but likely going to be playing some decks with him just to try it out. But I think the big thing that everybody's looking here on this page, if you're watching on the YouTube side, is the gold card, which has been revealed already, but it is the Turnip. And if you didn't figure out already, Turnip is kind of like the main piece to this set. So it is beautiful. It is glorious. And I really hope I can pull this card. I want this Turnip, this gold Turnip, pretty much as bad as I want the gold Lucky Frog. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Harmonic Surge set. That was a long look at it, but we went through every single card in here. I am stunned. I am blown away. I cannot wait to get these cards in my hand and start building some decks. So make sure, if you guys, wherever you're watching, listening, whatever, drop me a comment, leave a little review, whatever, about whatever your favorite card from this whole set has been. This is a tough one for me. I think gameplay wise, it's Good Dragon for me. If I'm gonna go art wise, I'm gonna shock a lot of people, and I'm going with Laser Barrier. So those were my two top picks. If I'm going like all out art, like Void Rares or whatever, it's definitely a tie between Afrith and King Frigus Diesel. But man, there's so many good cards in here. Like so many good cards. All right, so before we move on to the card pick and the pack of the week, I do want to showcase on the screen here, and for those listening, I'm going to kind of just talk about it, is the pre-order for Harmonic Surge. Now, if you go to the webpage here, the Nostalgix TCG.store, on the splash page will be the option for Harmonic Surge. You just click on that. They are, Zaba did something unbelievable that nobody else has done, and I don't think anybody else is crazy enough to do, and that is adjust their MSRP price down. And initial thought is you might be like, oh my God, are they really losing money like that? Like what the heck? But no, this was actually a community driven decision that I think has really gone his way and really shown the community that Zaba and team care about the TCG and are willing to do whatever it takes to keep this thing going and really build off the hype and momentum that Nostalgix already has. And that's because the MSRP dropped from $145 down to $89.99, $90. But it's on sale for pre-order right now, $74.99. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching, and you haven't pre-ordered, or even if you have pre-ordered and you want to get some more, make sure you do this before, what was it, May 31st? Yeah, right here, pre-order exclusive pricing, save $15 on your pre-orders until May 31st. All orders containing this item are anticipated to ship by June 2nd, 2023. And Zaba's actually already posted in the Discord that their fulfillment center basically already has everything to the warehouses ready to go. And that their hopes is to mail everything out so it arrives to each person by June 2nd. So we might not even have to wait beyond June 2nd for things to ship and arrive. These boxes are going to be trying to be timed so they arrive on June 2nd, which is phenomenal. Definitely get your boxes in now. The cool thing about ordering on the webpage here is you have the option with Shop Pay. So I know a lot of people don't know what it is, but if you're just going to get your one box for $75, you hit buy with Shop Pay. They do kind of like a little credit run on you, and then they determine if if you're eligible. They allow you to purchase the box with 4 payments, 4 bi-weekly payments. So technically 2 payments per month. So for this one, you'd be paying 4 interest-free installments of $18.74. So that is always an option as well. Please keep that in mind when you're going to do this. If you were a Kickstarter backer, please make sure you go to your email that was recently sent out to you and get the extra code, the discount code, to bring your boxes down even more. And we're talking like $50 a box if you're a Kickstarter backer. So make sure you do that. Get your boxes in. You only have 17 days, 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 53 seconds to pre-order. There's a little time clock up at the top. That's what I just read off. If you guys are not watching, but yeah, we've got that, and Harmonic Surge is right around the corner. We are just a couple weeks away. Make sure you get them in. We just, like I said, we went through the whole card list. You guys see what's on there, heard what's on there even. Make sure you get your pre-orders in, because after May 31st, they are going up to $90 a box. And while it's still a really, really good price, I certainly would rather pay $75 than $90 for a box. So I've got my pre-orders in. I may even pre-order more. Who knows? We're crazy mad lads out here. So we like to deck tech and build and stuff. But get those in. All right. Now we're going to move on to card pick of the week. And we're going to kind of wind things down a little bit. I know taken a lot of your time already, but we're going to wind things down with the first ever card pick of the week. And I had to go with a classic here. It's not everybody's first pick. And, some people probably wouldn't pick this ever at all. But the whole goal of this card pick of the week is to showcase all the different cards and things that Nostalgix come out with, and just to kind of show and highlight some beauty of those cards. So my pick, some may guess it, some may not, is going to be Valkyrian. I can't get this thing to focus, but for those of you on the audio side, it is a Day 0 Valkyrian. This particular one is actually slabbed by degree grading and received an 8 for the grade. But it is a Valkyrian from Day 0, which is the Kickstarter. And my favorite card, this was quite honestly the card that pulled me in to Nostalgix. A lot of people may or may not know that, but that was the one that really brought me in. And I love it. I've got more that I'm going to have graded. My whole goal is to have the biggest collection of Valkyrian. And I think I've already claimed that title. I'm pretty sure nobody out there has as many Valkyrian as I do. And maybe in a future episode, I'll showcase my collection of Valkyrian. But that is my card pick of the week. So 7 cost, 12 health fighter with, it's a holy fighter with life touch. When this fighter deals damage, heal your hero by the same amount. It has 2 attacks, Holy Smite for 9 damage, and Resurrection, which allows you to pull a fighter from the void and put it back in the playing field. But then you can't attack with Valkyrian until after your next turn. So you essentially have a cooldown of 1 turn. But it is my favorite card. I mean, let's be honest here. It is my favorite card. But let me know down below, or if you're on the podcast side again, make sure you just comment or whatever that what your favorite card from Day 0 is, or what your pick for the very first card pick of the week would be. I'm very curious to see the spread of cards that are going to come up about this, But the card pick for next week, I kind of want to have a little bit of fun here. I'm not going to reveal what it is until next week, but I kind of wanted to have fun and get you guys guessing and get you active and participating a little bit. I have next week's card right in front of me, and I'm going to give you a couple clues. I'm not going to make it too easy, but I also want you guys to have some clues to kind of dig for and look for in trying to figure it out. And who knows, maybe I'll do a little prize or something for the first person who can guess it. And, like I said, leave a comment, review, whatever. Just drop something where I can read it, and we'll count that as an entry. But this card, I will say, is a hero. Okay, so Day 0 in first edition, it's base set, essentially. But this is not a traditional card. It is an alternate art style card. So I'm going to leave you with those 2 clues. I know, kind of vague. Some of you may guess the line I'm going down already, but the first person, let's say, to guess that correctly, I'll give a little prize to. So that's your future card pick, your hints at the next week's card pick. And last but certainly not least, like I said at the beginning of this podcast episode, I wanted to end on a bang And I think we're going to do something really cool where we have a pack at the end of every podcast. At least that's my goal. And kind of just see what we can get. Maybe we get some magic on the show. Maybe we get some luck. Maybe we don't pull anything at all, but you never know until you try, right? So today I have a first edition blister looking for the gold signature cards, which Mini Minnow's son apparently is stealing everybody's luck. I'm not too happy about that, but we'll see what we can get here. And here we go. We're opening it up. Ooh, look at that. Like the corner was like all kinds of smashed in. That's kind of different, but the cards aren't affected, or they shouldn't be. I'll let you know as soon as I can get it open. This one's being rather tough. We usually don't have an issue with these, but okay, we got 1, 2, 3 to the front, and here we go. We have a regular turnip. We have Spook Raider, Robel, Succubi, Voodoo, Biceptus. Nope. I need more of these, actually, so that's good. Heroic Resolve. We've got Magnet Storm and a Croak. So the very first pack opening of the podcast is a non-foil Croak. That is a-okay. We will take every card and any card we can get. But thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging out with me on this very cool and exciting brand new adventure. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I'm always open to feedback, by the way. You guys got ideas, things you want to see on the podcast, things you didn't like about this episode, let me know. This is just the first episode. We got a lot of things to learn from and a lot of things to move forward with. So let me know what you think, what your suggestions are, improvements you guys may want to see. But I appreciate every single one of you for watching, listening, hanging out, and just enjoying the Nostalgix vibes week to week. I know I see a lot of you guys in the Discord. A lot of you guys already watch my channel. I love Nostalgix, and I wanted to bring a little plaything to, or not plaything. I wanted to bring a little bit of joy and happiness to people who might not be able to watch, and kind of start a new podcast, because every good TCG has a podcast. So we're bringing Nostalgix one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, if you're on the YouTube side, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see more of the video side of things. Like the video, drop your comments down below. Engagement really helps the channel grow and gets this video in particular more reach when it's got more engagement. So I greatly appreciate you on that front. If you were on the audio side, make sure you follow, whatever it is for each podcast or for each platform, so you can stay up to date whenever I do my next episode, which will be weekly. And leave a review. That definitely helps when you guys drop and leave reviews for podcasts like this. It helps them grow, and it helps each platform push it out even more. So I greatly appreciate everything you guys can do for me here. And yeah, we're looking forward to next week and the next episode. And we'll talk to you guys then. I appreciate you. We'll see you.